Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Sophia, yoga teacher from Sydney, Australia. Today we're going to be doing a 50-minute practice which is focused on building resilience. So when you're ready, we're going to meet in a Shavasana, corpse pose, so lying down, resting on the mat, hands either side of the body, feet wide apart, relaxed. And just take this moment to connect with the breath. Maybe doing some deep abdominal belly breathing, breathing into our diaphragm, and just enjoy a moment of stillness. So today the focus is on building resilience. And resilience is our capacity to bounce back from adversity. We become resilient by surviving, adapting, and growing in the face of hardship. But difficult times are inevitable and are a part of the process of being human. But it's how we react that determines whether we have built this inner resilience or not. We should remember that we always have a choice, and we can either choose to suffer and become stuck in a negative mentality, or we can choose to be strong and move through these difficult times. So today we'll be using our yoga practice to connect and strengthen our inner resilience by building strength in the mind and the body. So we're going to be getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And we'll be holding a few key poses and staying in them longer than usual for around 10 breaths. And this is where we may meet some discomfort. And in these difficult times, we'll observe any thoughts or emotions that arise and maybe impulses to come out of the pose. And the aim here is to really move through this feeling of discomfort and breathe through it. So really using the breath as the vital life force that it is to help sustain us in these poses and really help us explore a deeper experience and to really eventually build mental and physical resilience. So if you're working with any existing injuries or concerned about an old one or unsure whether to do any of the poses, please do consult a medical professional before continuing with this practice. And if the practice does become too difficult, please do feel free to take a child's pose at any point. It is always available to you. This is your practice. And don't forget to have fun, always have a smile on your face, and just bring some humility throughout the practice. So when you're ready, we're going to wiggle those fingertips, wiggle those toes, and maybe deepen the breath and just wake up the body, and maybe stretching those arms overhead, giving yourself a nice big deep stretch, and then maybe hugging the knees into the chest, gently rolling over the lower back. Amazing. So we're going to keep the right leg, right knee tucked, and then straightening our left leg out, resting it on the ground, and then gently taking the right knee and rolling it over the body to the left hand side, and then taking our right arm overhead and looking over our right shoulder, coming into a supine twist. Be staying here for a couple of breaths. Remember our ujjayi breath, which is slightly constricting the back of our throat, and ujjayi also stands for ocean breath because it sounds like the sound of the ocean when you breathe. So breathing in through our nose and making a soft ocean sound on the way out. So placing our right leg back down, picking up our left knee, hooking it into our chest and bringing it over to the right side of the body, taking our left hand overhead and looking over our left shoulder, coming into another supine twist, staying here for around 5 breaths. The aim is really to get the shoulder down to the ground, so if that means just lifting the knee up slightly, that's okay. And last inhale and exhale, release that back down to the ground. Okay, we're going to next do a bit of a core warm-up. So when you're ready, raise that right leg to the sky with our foot flexed, pointing upwards, and then lifting our upper body up from the floor. And then also lifting our left foot off the ground. We're hovering here. We're going to hold this for around 10 breaths. It's 2 gone already for me explaining that. So really lifting up the chest, engaging the core, shoulders relaxed and down. Keeping our both legs straight, our top foot flexed. Holding here for another breath. And lower gently down, hugging that right knee into our chest, maybe rolling it over. And now we're going to take happy baby, so grabbing our peace fingers, our first finger and our middle finger, wrapping it around our big toe, and then just gently rolling over that lower back with half happy baby. Taking another couple of breaths here. Inhale and exhale, place that back down. Okay, let's do the left side. So raising our left leg up to the sky, flexing our left foot, and then lifting up our right, hovering it over the ground and lifting up our chest off the floor. Really engaging the core, really finding that lift. Tucking the chin will also help. Going to stay here for another 5 breaths. Really focus the mind inwards, really push through the difficult resistance that you feel from this pose. And last inhale here. And release it back down to the floor. Amazing. Hugging that left knee into the chest and then doing a happy baby on the left hand side, so grabbing the left big toe with a slight bend in the knee and then gently rock from side to side over that lower back, maybe holding the right hip with your right hand. Amazing. And releasing that back down to the floor. So the next we're going to do the double leg. So when you're ready, raise both legs up to the sky, flexing those feet, and try and straighten those legs, keeping our lower back on the floor. And then when you're ready, inhale and reach for those feet. So really tucking in the core, really engaging the abdominals and reaching with your shoulders down for those feet. Again, really just smile through it. Just really feel that resistance. This is exactly what we're working towards. With one last inhale here, really reach for those feet, really with all that might. And then exhale, release that back down to the floor. Amazing. Well done, everyone. Hug the knees into the chest. Maybe rolling over the lower back, just doing whatever feels good. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to come back to a seated or a standing position actually at the top of the mat. So either rocking over gently your back, as you can see that I'm doing, to eventually gather enough momentum to stand all the way up. Either do this or just get up how you'd want to normally get up and let's meet at the top of the mat. So with your hands stretched out, we're going to take a few Surya Namaskara Cs, so sun salutation Cs, just to really warm up the body before we get started. So when you're ready, inhale your hands up to the sky, engaging the glutes with a slight back bend, and then exhale, release that down, flat back, swan dive down. We're meeting in a forward fold at the bottom. Hands either on your fingertips or resting on the floor. Right leg steps back with your knee resting on the mat, looking forward, horse rider pose. Inhale here, and then exhale, step the left foot back. We're coming into a plank. Take a breath here, inhale, and then exhale, dropping the knees, lower the chest and chin to the floor. Holding here, and inhale, slide that through, coming into cobra. Looking forwards, shoulders back, and then exhale, pushing the floor away, sending our hips up to the sky, coming into our first downward dog. Again, feel free to just pedal out the heels, one at a time. You just get used to being in a nice downward dog position with a nice straight back. And when you're ready, stepping our right foot all the way forward to meet our hands, lowering our left knee, untucking the toes, looking forward, shoulders back, horse rider pose. Let's take an inhale here, step that left foot to meet the right, forward fold on the exhale. And then when you're ready, take a big inhale up to the sky, hands overhead, slight back bend, engaging the glutes, and then hands meet at prayer center. On the exhale, open it back up. Okay, let's do another round on the other side. So when you're ready, inhale the arms up overhead, slight back bend, engage the glutes. On the exhale, forward fold, swan dive down, meeting in forward fold position, chest resting on thighs. We're going to inhale, stepping our left foot back behind us, lowering our left knee, looking forward, horse rider pose. And then on the exhale, planting the hands, stepping our right foot back to high plank, taking an inhale here. And on the exhale, dropping the knees, chest, chin to the floor. And inhale, slide it through, coming into cobra. Shoulders back, chest forward. And then on the exhale, push the floor away, untuck the toes, sending the hips to the sky. Amazing. Just take a breath here. Okay. When you're ready, we're going to take the left foot forward. Looking forward, really take a big step. Left foot meeting the hands, right knee down, untucking the toes, looking forward, horse rider. And then untuck the right toes, step forward, meeting in a forward fold. On the exhale. And on the inhale, sweep the arms overhead, slight back bend, engage the glutes to protect the lower back. And then exhale, hands meet at heart center. Well done, everyone. Nice little warm up. Okay, the next pose that we're going to do is a chair pose. So inhale, your arms overhead. Exhale, bend in the knees, making sure our tailbone is tucked. And if we were to look down, we would be able to see our big toes. And making sure our arms are parallel with our ears. We're going to take another couple of breaths, probably around 5 more breaths here. So just welcome any discomfort in the thighs, really breathe through it. 3 more breaths. Last inhale here. And exhale, release, forward fold. Chest resting on thighs, let the head go. So we're going to take our peace fingers, our second finger and our middle finger, and wrap those around our big toes. This is actually called a big toe forward fold. Inhale to rise and exhale to fall. Just take a couple breaths here. So really just letting the head go and just try and straighten the backs of those legs. It's okay if the knees are bent, as long as you're, getting a good stretch in the back of those legs, those hamstrings. I'm going to take one last inhale here. And exhale, release. Amazing. Well done, everyone. So we're going to plant our hands on the floor and step it back into high plank, where we'll also be staying for another 8 to 10 breaths. So again, we're going to meet some discomfort here, but really just think about engaging the core, engaging the glutes, pushing the floor away, lifting up and out of our shoulders, and just breathing through the difficult sensations. Last 3 breaths. You can do it. 1 more breath. And release those knees down. Exhale. Well done, everyone. Slowly lower the chest to the floor. We're going to take a Sphinx pose. It's just a little resting pose. So walking the hands slightly in front, resting on our forearms. We're going to roll the shoulders back and just gently look forwards and engage those glutes, really just to protect the lower back. If you're feeling any difficult or just painful sensations, not discomfort, but pain. Any painful sensations, just back away from this pose and then just do a normal cobra. Okay, staying here for one more breath. Inhale and then exhale, pushing the floor away. We're going back into our downward dog and just pedaling out the heels, just having a little resting pose. Okay, we're going to take our right knee and we're going to place it next to our right elbow and then place our right foot on the floor and then spinning our left foot to the side of the mat, coming into our warrior two position. Arms are parallel, our hips are open and facing the side of the mat, and we're looking over our top hand, making sure our knee is directly over our ankle so we can see our big toe. And we're going to stay here for another 8 breaths. So again, just getting really comfortable with staying in these poses. This is quite a challenging sequence because of the slow movements, the holding of the postures. We're going to be really using the breath just to rely on helping us through all of these poses and just building that inner resilience throughout this practice. Okay, last breath here. And then exhale, we're going to move into an extended side angle. So resting our right forearm on our right thigh and then lifting our left arm overhead, looking over our left hand. Really opening up our chest to the sky. Staying here for another 5 breaths. Maybe feeling a bit difficult now in the right thigh. It could be screaming at you now. So the aim is just to really move through this and roll out that welcome mat for that discomfort. We can do it. Last 2 breaths here. Last breath, and release that left hand down to the floor and then drop that left knee to the ground, untuck the toes and then just open up that right arm to the sky, taking a nice twist as a little counter pose. Just resting here for 5 breaths. Okay, when you're ready, release that right hand down, untucking the toes on our left foot and then stepping our right foot back to our downward dog. Okay, we're going to take a little rest here, so dropping the knees to the floor, we're going to take a nice child's pose. So either with your hands in front of you, either your knees together or wide, or your hands behind you. We're going to take a nice child's pose for a couple breaths, maybe rolling over the forehead gently. Just really stay with the breath. Just acknowledge maybe any thoughts that came into play then. And when you're ready, We're going to untuck the toes and step it back into our downward dog. We're going to be doing the left side next. So when you're ready, taking the left knee and holding it at the nose just for one breath, and then placing that left foot down next to our hands, spinning out our right foot facing the side of the mat, and then rising, our arms parallel, coming into our warrior two on the left hand side, making sure our hips are pointing towards the long edge of the mat, and making sure our knee is directly over our ankle and looking over our top hand. We're going to be staying here for another 6 breaths, I would say, by now. Really breathing into any sensations, any discomfort. Really focusing the mind and breathing into those muscles which may be talking to you. I'm going to take one last big inhale together and release that right hand up overhead. Our left forearm is resting on our left thigh. We're going to take extended side angle. Another challenging pose, making sure our chest is open to the side and looking over our top hand. Staying here for another 6 breaths. Maybe imagining a ball of resilience growing stronger and stronger throughout this practice. Maybe giving yourself a little smile just to help move through this pose with one more big inhale. All together, we can do it. And then exhale, release that right hand down, lower that right knee down, untuck the toes, and spin that left hand up to the sky, taking a nice revolved twist for 5 breaths, and just recover from that very challenging sequence. And lower that left hand down. We're going to step that left foot back, meeting in our downward dog. And again here, we're just going to take a nice little rest. So when you're ready, just lower the knees down, resting your bum on your ankles, and then just either taking our hands overhead or just behind you, taking a nice child's pose for another couple of breaths. And just acknowledge maybe any difficult emotions, thoughts that came up throughout that. Maybe you're telling yourself you couldn't do it. We want to fight those inner thoughts, and instead we want to tell ourselves we are strong, we can. So when you're ready, we're going to push that back up to downward dog and gently walk our feet towards our hands, and clasping our elbows with a nice forward fold, coming into ragdoll. Just releasing that upper body, just rolling from side to side, taking nice big deep breaths just to relax and center ourselves back into the practice. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to release those hands, release all that upper body to the floor, and engaging the glutes. We're gently going to roll up all the way to standing, one vertebrae at a time. The head is the last to come up, and we're going to take a nice big breath here. Okay, when you're ready, come towards the long side of the mat and place your feet wide apart, your toes pointing towards the corners of the mat. So a nice wide stance here, nice wide base. We're going to take Goddess. So when you're ready, bend in those knees, making sure we're sitting back in those heels. And inhale, take your hands, your arms overhead, and we want to cactus the arms here. Okay, so we're staying here for 10 breaths in total. It's probably another 2 gone already, me explaining that, so don't worry. And to help, we're going to take some lion's breaths. So inhale through our nose, exhale out through our mouth. Another time, inhale through our nose, exhale. Okay, if you want an extra challenge here, we're going to pick up our heels and we're going to balance on our tiptoes for 3 more breaths. We can do it. Lower the bum to the floor. 2 more breaths. Let's go. Last inhale. Exhale, release, push up. Okay, forward fold, wide leg forward fold, placing our hands on the floor and really letting that upper body go. Staying here for 5 breaths, just in this resting posture. Well done. That was another challenging pose. But we moved through it, we got through it together. And we built some inner strength and inner resilience along the way. And when you're ready, we're just going to walk our hands to the front side of the mat, stepping our foot back into a high plank, and then sending our hips back up into our downward dog. Okay, so we're going to raise up our right foot up to the sky, coming into our 3-legged dog. So we're going to take pigeon next. And so if you're not comfortable with pigeon and you have any pain in your knees, we're going to take figure 4 instead. So a video will pop up shortly in the right hand corner, which will just show me doing this exercise. So just to explain pigeon, so for those of you who are in the pose, so we're going to place our right knee next to our right hand, and our right foot should just be angled to the side of the mat. And we're going to inhale our chest forward and either stay here or go deeper into the pose and just walk your hands. Your forearms may be resting on the mat, or maybe walking your hands forward and lowering the chest to the floor. So staying here. So if you're doing the figure 4 exercise, you want to be on your back, and we're going to take our right foot and place it over our left knee, and then we're going to pick up our left behind the backs of our knees, our thighs, and bring that towards us. So we should be really feeling a stretch in our right glute. So really just aiming to open up the right knee, flexing both feet, and really just breathing into this for 1 more breath. and gently lower that down. Okay, so let's do the left side. So again, if you went into pigeon before, take your three-legged dog and raise that left foot up to the sky and hold it here. And then when you're ready, move into your pigeon on the left side. And if you took a figure 4 exercise, so another video will pop up here and you'll be able to see me doing the figure 4, so lying on your backs. We're going to place the left ankle over the right knee, and then we're going to pick up our backs of our right thigh and move it towards us, towards our chest, flexing both feet. And if you're in pigeon, again, either just raising a chest forward and staying here, or if you want to go deeper, walking the hands in front of you and just resting the forehead onto the mat. Okay, staying in either pose for around 3 more breaths. Really enjoy this resting posture and just using the breath to go deeper. Okay, on the next inhale, we're going to come up, and if you're in pigeon, either swing those legs around and come up into our downward dog, or directly onto our bellies. So we're going to drop the knees, lower the chest to the floor. Okay, we're going to get comfortable here. So if you need to place any extra cushioning under the belly, under the hips, please do so now. We're going to take a locust pose. So when you're ready, release those hands to the side. We're going to inhale, lift our chest up, engage our glutes, and lift our back legs up at the same time. Looking forward, our gaze is directly, just slightly in front of us. We're going to just hold here for another 3 breaths, making sure we're protecting our lower back, really engaging the glutes, lifting the chest up. Okay, last 2 breaths. Inhale here, rise, engaging the glutes, and exhale. Last breath, really inhale through the nose, stay with it. And when you're ready, exhale, release the chest, release the legs down to the mat, gently rolling over the hips from side to side. Just release any tension in that lower back. Maybe rolling over the forehead and releasing any tension in the neck. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to push back, coming into all fours and then rolling over our ankles and making sure our feet are in front of us. We're going to do a nice forward fold to counter for around 10 breaths. So we're going to inhale our arms up overhead, flexing our feet. We're going to move our chest towards our thighs, reaching for our feet, and you can take a bend in the knees here. It's okay if you don't lower the chest all the way to the flat thighs. I can't. or if you need to really bend the knees to grab the toes. The aim here is really just to move the chest forward as far as it can go, and really feeling that nice stretch in the back of our hamstrings, the back of our legs, and just breathe here. Okay, last inhale here. And exhale. Okay, let's release this pose. Let's come up and gently shuffle forwards and release your upper body all the way to the mat. And maybe hugging the knees into our chest, gently rolling over our lower back. Okay, we're going to take a shoulder stand next. So if you are pregnant or you're menstruating, this pose isn't for you right now, so just really place the legs maybe up against the wall. If you're not pregnant, so maybe, and you've tried this pose before, so we're going to take our feet overhead and gently, with some momentum, roll our feet up to the sky, supporting our lower back with our hands. And we want to engage the glutes here, engage the core, just to really hold up our feet directly over us. When all of the joints are stacked, you might actually feel a sense of effortless, of weightlessness. Really just maybe closing the eyes here and just relaxing into this pose, making sure our neck is straight, is comfortable. Again, if you're feeling any pain, just back away from this pose and release back to the floor. Or if you want to take a staff pose, so just lower those feet behind you until they reach the floor, and clasping the hands, straightening the hands behind you, straightening the legs, tucking the chin in, feeling a nice stretch. And if it's in your practice, just hugging the knees with either side of your ears, either side of your head, and maybe staying here for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, sending those feet overhead, coming back into our shoulder stand, and then gently release back down, one vertebra at a time, lowering the back body down all the way to the floor. Now, to counter this pose, we want to take a fish. So we're going to place the tops of our heads onto the mat and really using our forearms just to pick our head up and just resting on those forearms, looking behind you. And if it's in your practice, take a flying fish where you're raising your feet and hovering them over the mat and your arms in front of you. Staying here for another couple breaths. And gently lower all the way down to the ground. Amazing, everyone. Okay. Just hugging the knees into our chest, rolling over our lower backs. We've come to the end of our practice. For our last pose, we're going to take a nice Shavasana. So when you're ready, placing your hands open next to our bodies, relaxing our feet. We're going to be staying here for a couple of minutes, so really get comfortable. So either placing anything over the eyes to cover the eyes, maybe getting a blanket if you feel cold. So just remembering the purpose of this practice was really to build resilience, inner resilience. So practicing like this can really refine our awareness and sensitivity we bring to difficult situations, where we are also met with emotional discomfort in our daily life. And the idea is to really leverage this experience, this practice, where we're cultivating resilience. So when we're met with turbulent times ahead, we have already built the strength and resilience to move through the difficult times, and know that you will always come out the other side. And just remembering this too shall pass. So just remaining here on the mat for another minute or so. Just really surrender to the floor and thank yourself for just joining this practice and facing those difficult times. So when you're ready, we're going to wiggle those fingertips, wiggle those toes, maybe deepen the breath. And take a nice big stretch, hands overhead, and then maybe hugging the knees into our chest, rolling over our lower back. And then with your eyes closed, come to a seated position on the mat, maybe hands resting on the knees. Let's take a nice big deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. Maybe placing the hands towards our heart and closing our eyes, raising our hands overhead and bowing down. Namaste. Thank you for sharing this practice with me. Well done, everyone. Hope to see you again. I'll be releasing another video soon. I hope you enjoyed this practice. Really well done, and enjoy the rest of your day.